Welcome, everybody. College football week 12 is in the books, and it's time to look forward to week 13. I'm Joe at the Game House, and today we're going to go over 5 things to watch in college football week 13. Rivalry week is here. We're excited for college football week 13, the last week of the regular season for college football. As a reminder, we're going to go over 5 things. Going through this thing, we might be some games that we want to watch, some performances we want to watch, but really just gives us some more flexibility than just saying 5 games to watch in college football week 13. Let's get it started off. Number 1, we have the game. With a suspended Jim Harbaugh, it's going to be very hard for them to be at their best, but Jim Harbaugh said the locker room is in one piece right now. They're undefeated behind a good defensive running game, and they've had some close calls over the last 2 weeks. We'll see how maybe the media circus, maybe the sign stealing, all that affects Michigan, maybe not having their coach as well on the sidelines, but they're going to have to be ready to host Ohio State this week. Ohio State undefeated this year. A lot on the line. There's been a lot of pressure on Ryan Day for losing the last 2 years of the game. The offense hasn't been as good as most years, but their defense has been much better. They're allowing just 9.9 points per game. Michigan's favored by 5.5. That actually has changed a little bit throughout the week, so double check on that, depending on where you're putting your sports bets in. But it really could go either way on Saturday. We just don't know if Michigan sign stealing has an effect. We don't know if Ohio State's offense can play good enough to win, if they can match up, if they can stop the run. There's a lot of things going on here. Should be a lot of fun, and you'll have to see how both these offenses play, I think, to really determine who's going to win the game. The Civil War. Oregon State's coming off a tough loss to Washington, which was their third of the season. They have a good offense that scores 37.9 points per game. It's also well balanced. They have a good quarterback, DJ Uiagalelei, and a running back in Damian Martinez. While they're out of the Pac-12 championship race, they're going to want to leave their rivals with a loss before Oregon heads to the Big Ten. So Oregon have a bit more to play for in terms of this season. With a win, they lock up a spot in the Pac-12 championship game. If they win that, they could be going to the college football playoff. Oregon scores 46.5 points per game behind the arm of Bo Nix, who's had a very efficient year. They also have very good defense, allowing just 16.7 points per game. Should be a close one, but Oregon is favored. I do think Oregon ends up winning this game and really sets up a really good Pac-12 championship matchup with Washington. Speaking of Washington, we're going to talk about the Apple Cup next. It's another Pac-12 rivalry game that is dying after the season. Now, this is for conference play. A lot of these, Oregon State and Oregon and Washington State seem like they're going to figure out how to schedule their games in the future. I believe the Apple Cup is already scheduled for the future, which is good news, and Oregon State is definitely working on that for the future as well. Washington State's going to be staying in what's left of the Pac-12 for the time being. They're going to have a schedule thing going on with Mountain West Conference. At least that's what it looks like right now. The Cougars, like Oregon State, want to get one more win over the rivals. They've had a season that maybe hasn't gone as best as they would have liked. They're 5-6, need to win a game to get a bowl eligibility, get 2 bowl eligibility this year. They passed for 338 yards per game. Cam Ward has been very solid for the Cougars over the last 2 seasons. He's going to have a big game in this one to get Washington State the win, as they're probably going to be in a shootout against Washington. Washington undefeated, on the cusp of making the college football playoff. They're in the Pac-12 championship game. Just matter who they play. Most of the season has been fueled by the offense. There's been some hiccups where the defense has had to step up, and that's been really good when some of the games where their offense doesn't get going. Rivalries can produce wild results, and Washington will need to stay focused because a loss right now could really hurt their chances of making the playoff. There's about 8 or so teams who have one loss, who have a 1 or 0 losses, who have a good chance of making the playoff. You want to make sure that there's no reason the committee can leave you out. So Washington wants to stay focused here. Should be a game where they win, but like I said, rivalries get crazy. All right, Florida State without Jordan Travis. In Week 12, Florida State defeated North Alabama. Unfortunately, Jordan Travis, their starting quarterback, had a bad leg injury. It looks like it's going to end the season, and today it actually was confirmed that his college football career is over, or at least Florida State career is over. Tate Rodemaker filled in for Travis and helped secure the win. Finished the game going 13-23 passing, 217 yards, and no interceptions. 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. Rodemaker will likely get the reins moving forward. In Week 13, Florida State is playing Florida. The Gators also have their starting quarterback, Graham Mertz, out for the season. This could be a game that gives the fans and the committee a chance to see what Rodemaker could do with this team. Can they beat a good team, or at least a solid team of Florida, and keep that ranking? If they go undefeated, is there a way they get left out of the playoff, even for like a 1-loss Georgia, 1-loss Alabama, in these hypothetical scenarios? I don't know, but you're going to need to play well. You need to show the committee something. If he doesn't play well in this game and you win, maybe he can play well against possibly Louisville in the ACC championship game. All right, the last thing, the Governor's Cup. Louisville qualified for the ACC Championship and just has one loss in the season, which came to Pitt. Trying to keep their thin hopes of making the college football playoff alive with a win over the rivals Kentucky. They're going to need a lot of help, so they got to make sure they win this game first and foremost, though. Cardinals have some close calls as of late, winning their last 2 games by 7 points each. Their offense has been hitting their stride as they scored 30 points in 3 straight games. You have to edit that a little bit and get it a little better there. Kentucky enters the game after a loss to South Carolina, brings the record to 6-5. It's a little bit below expectations, and there's a lot of criticism of the program going on right now as they've lost 5 of their last 6 games. An immediate cure would be a win over a rival against Louisville and at least start getting things back on the right track. Kentucky's offense hasn't lived up to the hype this season. Their defense has been put in some tough spots. But they're going to be inspired in this game, and maybe they pull off an upset and ruin Louisville's season a little bit. Again, likely not going to go to the college football playoff, but a win here would definitely make that the case. So Kentucky will be properly motivated as well this weekend. Those are the 5 things I'm watching in college football week 13. Let me know which ones you're watching this week in the comments below. For now, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.